a lot of times you want to find those fish before you even try to cast, especially if you're on a new body of water. And I do this on the Great Lakes a lot, especially when the fish are deeper, 20 feet or deeper. I'm not even going to start fishing until I start to see fish. Even if an area looks good, topographically on the map, I want to see fish first because, you're talking about massive bodies of water, and, you may waste so much time stopping and trying to fish 10 minutes here and 15 minutes there. You can burn up hours before you even get on a spot with fish. Whereas if you would have just stayed on your motor, spent that extra 30 minutes idling around, that honey hole literally could be waiting around the corner. And if you're specifically targeting these deeper schooling fish, I highly recommend not stopping to fish until you actually see them. That's another thing on the Tennessee River. If I idle over a ledge and it's like, I see a couple maybe fish, a couple, marks that look like they might be bass, keep going. I want to see definitive bass, and I want to see a lot of them. And I'll kind of go over a little bit, how to tell a bass apart from other bait fish, or other fish. But, if you're after shallow schools, obvious stuff. Birds, that's a big indicator for me. And seagulls, believe it or not, to me are like the ultimate, because when you see seagulls diving, there's only one thing they're after. Herons are a good thing to see on the edges of the bank. I don't know what other types of birds we have up here, but herons are good, but herons live on the lake, right? So even if they're not actively hunting or eating, they're still hanging around. So it's good to see herons in your area. But man, when you see seagulls diving, especially in open water, there's only one thing they're doing, and they're coming down and they're after shad or some other type of bait fish. It's a big deal. And obviously, shad dimples, if the water looks nervous, especially in the fall when those fish are starting to get shallow. When I say nervous, you can tell the water may just look a little bit different in the back of a creek or, along the shoreline. And if you see that water, it looks a little bit off. A lot of times it's because you've got shad right on the surface. Sometimes you'll see little shiny flashes from them as they flip around and move around, but it's always worth investigating. And then bass chasing and slurping. And, we all know the difference between a bass and a carp when it jumps. And, that's one thing I get guiding a lot. The carp will come flopping and my clients will say, oh, they're jumping like crazy over there. And it's like, no, those are carp. And the easiest way to tell the difference is, when a bass comes up and jumps, it's more of a slurp. And when a carp comes up and jumps, it's more of a smack. So, if you're hearing that and they're sporadic and isolated jumps and they're really smacking down, odds are they're carp. But if they're slurps, it's worth investigating. You may just see one bass come up and slurp, but there could be 500 more down below getting ready to do it in 5 minutes. So if you think it's a bass, it is worth going over and making some casts. Make one bite. This is the most important thing, like we talked about earlier. What one fish is doing, the rest of the school is doing. So if there are 0 fish biting, there are 0 active fish. If you can get one fish to bite, it's just, just another reference to human beings, but, you watch your friend eat a piece of pizza, you want a piece of pizza too. And these things are the same way. So getting that first, if the school's not aggressive and they're not biting, you've got to make that first fish bite. Sometimes it's through finesse, sometimes it's through reaction. But one thing I love to do, especially on the Tennessee River and on the Great Lakes, we were talking about when those smallies just don't want to play, just burn a crankbait. Burn a crankbait. If burning the crankbait doesn't work, shake a drop shot and go really finesse and just try to get that first one. And it's amazing what that can do, just getting one.
And the information Bass University provides isn't your basic run-of-the-mill fishing video. This is specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly.